Hi everybody, welcome back to the AI Radio Room. My name is Matty. I'm the community manager at Magnet AI, and I'm joined with Kartin Wong, the co-founder of ORA. Good to have you on the show, man. How are you doing today?
Great. Brazil is fantastic.
Yeah. You love it so far? Good stuff. So do you want to maybe tell us a little bit more about what ORA does in this space?
ORA is building the Ethereum trustless AI. We enable decentralized AI inference on Ethereum so that the smart contract on Ethereum will be able to use AI model for the app and all kind of thing. That's one side. And another side for ORA is like IMO, initial model offering. We tokenize AI model with the AI company. We help them to tokenize their AI model on blockchain and then turn it into a on-chain AI oracle, provide services on blockchain, also governance the AI model on blockchain.
Pretty important stuff that you're doing in regards to model tokenization, things like this.
Yeah.
So most models nowadays are trained on publicly available data, social media, things like this. Do you think it's ethical to use this data without the consent of the owner of the data?
It's unethical, but you cannot stop it.
Very true.
Because once you publish the data, it's really hard to tell. Are you really want to publish that? If you don't want to publish that, why you post it on Twitter or Reddit, right? Really hard to tell. Really blurred. So I don't really have a problem with that, but I think 100% is unethical without the authorized data to them. But it's happened already.
So alongside your IMOs, you also work in decentralized infra, right? Do you think there's a pressing need for blockchain infrastructure in AI? And why Web3 solutions are preferable over traditional Web2 solutions that we have today?
So the reason why how I start Aura is back to 2 years ago when ChatGPT just announced this thing is amazing. So I know the ChatGPT will change every sector in blockchain. This kind of transform model, right? And but the problem is that how can you have the AI model decentralizedly on blockchain? Because you don't want a single point failure. You don't want once you import AI into your DApp, it becomes the choke point. Decentralized inference was so important for DApp on Ethereum, especially because it's fully decentralized network. If you using another network that's like kind of centralized AWS chain, probably you don't really care about that much. But when application running on Ethereum, it actually need to require to be fully decentralized, right? At the first day from the day one. So that's why we need Oracle solution like Chainlink, so that when you do a price feed, you are not just a single point failure. If that server got hacked, the whole thing is done, right? So that's why you need decentralized Oracle network for your price feed data, weather data, all kind of data. And same for AI. When you want to use AI in your smart contract, you want to use it in a decentralized manner. And so that it won't become the single point failure for your decentralization. So like that, but the problem is how to make decentralized inference on Ethereum when it's so expensive for everything and all the gas. So our solution is like opML, optimistic machine learning. So we invent this technology to enable a on-chain delegation for the inference. So it says that once you post an inference request, and they pay for the inference, and it will delegate to all the off-chain node to execute it, and they will submit the result with the fraud proof.
Right. So it's like a verification.
It's like a verification that once it passes the verification, the result will be sent back to the requester. So the whole process will be done in a fully decentralized manner. I don't need to worry about it's like completely 100% censorship resist. And based on this technology, there's one of the project. Right now we have about more than 40 ecosystem projects that really use Aura. And one of them are actually called Chat ORM. Pretty much it's a chatbot with 100% freedom. And then you can ask literally everything. And how they delegate the code. They don't need to be regulated by all the US government or Chinese government, right? They use Ethereum to delegate the code, the inference request. So that it means like nobody can stop that. It's unstoppable. That's make them 100% free AI model. It's like when you just put the model into AWS server, right? You need to follow the US regulation. You cannot provide medical advice for people, even they really need that. Right? You cannot do this, you cannot do that. When you host it in China, right, you cannot do shit ton of stuff. So like you want the blockchain to be the delegator for your inference. So we utilize the decentralization of Ethereum in the same time to make the whole AI inference become unstoppable.
So you were talking about the opML solution that you provide, right? Yeah. That's obviously something that we use for the verification of our inference as well. So do you maybe want to explain to the user what exactly is being verified?
What have been verified in opML will be the inference trace. Inference is a process. It's like the model and the prompt go into the model and then begin to compute every layer, right?
Yes.
So you can track every time the first layer of the AI inference, what's the record there, and then that will be the input for the second layer, right? So we are tracking every layer, and then we turn it into a Merkle tree, and then we submit the inference result with the Merkle tree into blockchain. And then the proposer, this is what proposer does. And then the challenger, what they do is that they download the Merkle tree and then run the binary search
Sure.
between two Merkle tree, between their own Merkle tree and the poster Merkle tree, and then find out if there's any difference between these two Merkle tree. If there is, then we will justify, like we will use the smart contract to run that certain small pieces of bytecode on the blockchain, so that we can tell which one is right. So as challenger, you just need to prove the proposal is wrong in 1 byte of computation,
Right.
which is super low. That really is really cheap. Now, if you want to use on-chain Oracle on Ethereum mainnet, it just costs $1 or $2. It's really cost efficient right now and fast for opML. And if you do zkML, first, it's pretty much impossible to make a circuit for that.
Yeah.
Second is that like even you make it, the cost will be $10,000 per inference. It's just unpractical. Yeah.
Okay, so what about latency then?
The latency, some people have some thinking that if you use optimistic system, it must be 7 days.
Right.
But actually, you don't need to. As long as all the commit hash is M hash, then we can commit right away, which means 2 blocks to finalize. If you have some challenge fraud proof happen, you probably need 3 or 4 blocks. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's also really fast.
Brilliant. So let's talk a little bit about your IMO. Do you want to elaborate on the process and criteria for selecting AI models to be tokenized under your IMO? Can anyone launch one? And how does Aura manage biases?
Yeah, eventually everybody is completely permissionless. But right now, because Aura need to turn the AI model to become verifiable Oracle, so we have the saying that like, well, which model will be, which model won't. We don't want to waste the computation resources from our ecosystem for the model that won't be used on chain. It's like IMO is more about the AI model that serve blockchain usage.
Sure.
It's not a general. You don't need to IMO a self-driving car, right? You don't need to IMO a lawyer GPT, right? You just nobody use it on blockchain, but you will need a general chatbot on chain. You need a AI model for DeFi, do lending, to do swapping,
Precisely.
right? Market making. So the criteria for IMO model right now is more about it will be used on blockchain. That's the number one thing I think about IMO, right? Because you don't want to launch a model that nobody use on chain.
No.
It means it's another meme coin, right? So there's way too many meme coins. If you do that, why you don't just launch something easier?
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything that you want to maybe share with our viewers as to what you've got in the pipeline over the next 3 months at Aura?
I want to share with the audience that chatorm.com is alive now. So people can go to chat with the open language model with 100% freedom. The most important thing here is not built by us. 2 months ago, we did the IMO for open language model.
Right.
And then there's some team, they bought the token. I don't even know who they are. They build a product and contact us. And then say, can we just help them to tell people they buy the token and build the product?
Right.
So the most important thing for IMO is that once you launch the token, then people buy a token and they do stuff. They contribute to the ecosystem. And this thing is happening. That is really impressive. You can fully crypto-native chatbot. It's not just for crypto. You can ask pretty much everything and anything. There's no boundary there. And like in the future 3 months, there's gonna be a lot of the ecosystem project on Aura is launching, and most of them will do fair launch. And they don't need. They have really high valuation in first-level market, but they choose to do fair launch. We are trying to promote a new kind of concept. It's called fair launch. There's AI in fair.
Okay.
Traditionally, you do fair launch with 2 mainstream mechanisms. One is first in, first serve. That is technically unfair because not everybody have a really good bot. And the second way is staking. Stake BTC, ETH, or BNB to do allocation. But most of this like capitally unfair. The big player can take majority of the token, right?
Exactly.
So how about the third way? We use the language model to decide who have how many allocation. So AI can actually play really good as judge. So what inspired me for this new mechanism for token launch is that back to a year ago, there's one really viral AI game. It's like you are a Google engineer. You try to get as high as compensation from Google interviewer. The Google interviewer is actually pretend by a ChatGPT.
Right.
And then whoever can get the highest compensation who win the game. So same thing for AI model. Same thing for fair launch. When you think about fair launch, it's purely about speculation, right? And speculation is an open-end problem.
Sure.
And so what AI model is really good at handle that open-end problem. So it means if we do enough fair launch in the coming future, let's say we do it 10,000 times, the model enhances itself. Every time you do a fair launch, every time it enhances itself. So you will know which account, which EOA is the best for allocate more token, which should not allocate that many token. With the self-improvement system, this AI model will be more and more efficient. Ultimately, no matter what this AI model launch, it just pump. Speculation is an art. It's an open-end problem that needs to be handled by AI. So that new fair launch concept will be like the most viral thing in this cycle, I think.
It's a good step away from the like point system that you see nowadays as well.
I don't really have a problem for point system. It makes sense for a large project that raised from tons of money from VC to do that. Essentially, what points program is more a one more layer before you do airdrop.
Sure.
It's like, yeah, I remember in the old days, in 2017, 18, when a project do airdrop, it's just directly based on how many interaction for you and right. That's really single matrix kind of situation, mostly for DeFi protocol. But for most project that do long points program, they are not DeFi. They are really complicated behavior reward systems. So I think it makes sense. For most project, you don't need point system. Most project,
No, exactly.
you just need a fair launch. You just need fair launch to let the community own the product. Right?
Precisely. I think people are jumping onto that points bit.
Yeah, it's like
thing.
a rapid hole everybody's doing the point.
All right, so thank you very much, Kartin, for joining us. Thanks everybody at home for joining us for the AI Radio Room as well. Hopefully we'll see you again soon.